this afternoon. The next is Qaiel Peltier. Now, Qaiel knows the importance of a supportive education environment after having to live with the experience of being bullied in high school. In Qaiel's view, and with most of you probably here agreeing with us, educational settings like schools and university campuses, well, they need to be places of inclusion, places where differences are recognized and embraced. The report that Administrator Hyde referenced earlier confirms that older adolescents who have behavioral health problems are struggling in school. In fact, nearly 14% of adolescents who had a major depressive episode or a substance use disorder and were enrolled in school had a grade average of D or lower. However, we know that young adults who get treatment are more likely to go on and graduate from high school than their peers with a mental illness who don't receive treatment. Now, let's learn a little bit more about Qaiel's experience.
It was really difficult for me, particularly in school, because I am a visibly queer person. I live in a very rural area. The first high school I attended was McKinleyville High School. There was a lot of hostility, but I mean, it was really difficult in high school to be engaged because I didn't feel safe on campus. So oftentimes I wouldn't go to class. The harassment and bullying that I received, I was very, very depressed. So what I did during that time was, read books, self-harm, whether it was cutting or bulimia or alcohol, those kind of things. I didn't really, during that time of my life when I started high school, I really didn't have any friends. For me, having other young queer people that were open about experiencing issues with their mental health made me feel severely less lonely. Through being involved in HCTayC, I met people that have made such a huge difference in my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Qaiel Peltier.
Together we stand, I'll be by your side, I'll take your hand. When it gets cold and it feels like the end, there's no place to go,
Good afternoon. As you just saw, life wasn't easy for me in school. And I'm in Washington today so that I might help others have a more positive educational experience and a voice in system transformation. In my rural community, there was a lack of safe, accessible, and competent mental health services for gender and sexual minority students and people. Schools need to have enough behavioral health staff to meet the needs of all students, because school is a natural place where youth receive support. Bullying exists. Oh, thank you. Bullying exists in schools, playgrounds, on social media, and it occurs to me now that the school system did not know how to handle it. That is why it's important for schools to use positive school climate models that address policy, training, and student engagement. In college, thank you. In college, I found support from queer youth making a difference in my community. I wish I had had that kind of support in high school. Providers and educators, you can encourage schools to develop gay-straight alliances or other peer support networks in middle school and high schools. If I had had that support and was empowered early on, my experience in education would have been safe and provided me with the tools I needed to navigate my life. I call on those of you in leadership positions to include well-supported and authentic youth voice in every possible decision that involves the services that youth receive. Please remember, nothing about us without us. Thank you for having me here today.
when it gets cold and it feels like the end. There's no place to go, you